away. Right. Thank you. So let me just share my presentation here. And if you're able to see my presentation, you can just say, I can see it.
I think we can see, yeah?
I can see it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. So for those who are joining this conversation for the first time and you've never known who Okanda is, it is okay. Okanda is just someone like each one of us making an impact in one way or another. So I define myself as a thought leader. I define myself, not really define myself. I'm an author of 2 books, and I'll be just projecting that in a short while. I'm a leadership trainer because of my experience in leadership. I've built my NGO from the scratch, and I really credit that to God's grace. And we people who, especially we who are affiliate our faith to God, we know we cannot do this by ourselves. So I started up the organization from the scratch. I know what it is to fundraise for your organization when you can't find uh, people to fund it. I know what it is to go through the pain of registering an NGO. I know what it is to go through the pain of looking for a team. I know what it is to have the pain of you have an idea and you don't know how it needs to start. I've been there. I've battled with mine. I've tried to run away from this space for so long until God really convicted me that I need to. And that's why through that I've also been able to train other people. I'm a youth governance champion, and I really advocate SDGs. That is one of the things we do with the NGO. And this year, from the month of March, I've been serving as the Kenya United Nations Youth Representative. What that entails is that I joined a cohort of the African United Nations delegates from 6 Eastern African countries, and we have been able to put together mandates that have been cutting across issues of youth unemployment, youth peace and security, and also meaningful youth engagement in key decision-making processes. I think for those who follow me on LinkedIn, you've been seeing a lot of that kind of advocacy, and that is how I was able to go to New York. It was a competitive selection. It was not by luck. More than 3,000 young people applied for this position. 20 of us was shortlisted from the 3,000. And then the 20, we went through the National Educational Assessment, where you do a lot of presentations and a lot of arguments, a lot of simulation games to check out on how you can work with people. And from there, they only picked 2, a gentleman and a lady. And I was the gentleman who was picked. And I work alongside my colleague, Linda Akitela. She's the president emeritus of Park University. And we have been doing this great work together. We have been in Dar es Salaam, we have been to South Sudan, the rest have been here in Kenya. And through that, we have been able to build capacity for global advocacy, what it is to stand on a UN platform and speak before diplomats and stakeholders. And through that, I've been able to build quite a number of networks when I was in US that I hope it's going to be fruition and it's going to come to fruition. And those are some of the opportunities when I hear I'll be just sharing with us in this community. I'm the executive director of Unlock Young Leaders Summit. That unfortunately, like 3 weeks, not 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, our website was infested. My team calls it infested by a virus. I'm not an IT person, so I couldn't really get to know more about that. But our website went down, but we are trying to revive it. But Okanda Leadership Academy, the website is up and running. Now, these are the 2 books that I have written. So the first book is on public speaking and communication hacks, and this book technically helps you to crack the puzzle of what it is to stand before people and overcome your fears and communicate your ideas. Because the moment you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. When you're going for that interview, and one of the things I was saying in one of the videos that I've uploaded on my YouTube channel, that's also something you can check out. It's a resource center for you guys. Is that when you have been shortlisted for an interview, it means you are 80% good. They have checked your credential, academic qualification, your capacity, and stuff like that. The 20% is for you to argue your case, to prove that the 80% exist. But the sad reality is that most of us, we show up in an interview and our communication skill kills the 80% potential that we carry. And what are sad statistics? That many people cannot just stand before a crowd and speak up and speak with boldness, with a certain aura that is able to get the attention of people. And not to the purpose of public speaking is not to impress your audience. The purpose of the of public speaking is to empower and get your audience reverberated towards a particular energy and a particular direction. So this is just like a crack course for public speaking and communication. But what I'm saying is that whenever time you stand before people, you need to get your act right. How you package yourself, how you dress up, how you your voice and tone variation, your ability to use your nonverbals, your ability to present your ideas in a way that matter, how you take up the stage, your movements from one statement that you're saying to the other, and how you're able to sort of bring all these blocks together in a manner that you will be memorable to the people who you spoke to. All that I talk about in this book. It's a 12 chapter guide that helps you to from conquering glossophobia to taking up the stage. That is the book. The second book is Build Up, The Pressure of Being Gifted. It's a book that I wrote it from the tandems of my heart as my message to the people who feel like they have something to offer, but they don't have enough to give to the world. And I shared part of my life story. And one of the things that makes people to quash their giftings and talents is that we have gone through a darkest kind of a season. For some of us, our childhood traumas are catching up with us in a silent way that we do not know what is going on. And what a sad statistic to be a person who is running away from their own shadow. For me, I was raised up by a surrogate father. I met my biological father when I was 21 years old, and I grew up with a broken self-esteem. I did not have a sense of identity and a sense of purpose. I grew up battling with quite a lot of depressive thoughts, and all these things they poured into my academic performance. As a teenager, I struggled quite a lot, and that's why there's something that will be coming up for teenagers in December. But away from that is that I performed so poorly in school. The people I used to beat in an examination were those who didn't sit for that exam. And what a sad story that there are people in life, they don't have a positively competitive spirit that everyone else in life are doing well apart from themselves. And some of those statistics that we have already crafted in our minds are informed by where we have grown up and who we have become in the long run. So these are some of the things I talk about in the book, and I talk about how do you deal with that pressure, the pressure of the things you've gone through. I battled suicide when I was a teenager. I went to the back of our house, I tied the rope at the back of our house, and I wanted to commit suicide because I felt like life had gotten me to the corners. And that just took a miracle, and all that story is in this book, and each one of these book goes for 1,000 bob. You can get them. We have a pickup station in town at Sawa Mall. So if you want a copy, you want maybe to get a copy for yourself, you just tell me, and then we are able to facilitate. We have quite a number of copies at Sawa Mall in CBD. Also for public speaking and communication hacks, we also have quite a number of copies. But you can also the public speaking and communication hacks. I uploaded it on Amazon recently. Yeah, so that's just shortly about me. All right, I know I've talked quite a bit. Now we want to talk about identity, purpose, and impact, and that's why I had to sort of give that kind of a background of where I've come from and who I am and what I've been able to do at this time. Now, the main purpose of the conversation today, we are going to focus on how do you discover and harness your personal identity, purpose, and impact. Imagine walking around with a key that does not open any of the padlocks that are seated on a door that you want to get into. You literally have come like 1,000 miles away, and you're having the wrong key. Also, someone has given you someone has told you when you go to my office, you're going to get a present, a gift that I've wrapped so well, and it's seated on top of my desk, and that is what I want you to go and get. And so you get yourself in a PSV, or you drive yourself, and you drive quite a long distance only to get to the office of this person. You put in the key and you realize you're carrying the wrong key. Someone tell me, how will you feel when you're carrying the wrong key? You get yourself to the door that you know this is where my gift is. This is where I've been sent to take one or two, three things. But you get there and the padlock is not working. Wasted. Naomi is saying you feel wasted. Any other person, what will you feel? What is the frustrated? Mohammed says that. Any other person? Well, how will you feel? Emenda. Oh God. Emenda. Any other person? Let's give those popcorn answers. How will you feel? Maybe two more. Disappointed. Enoch says disappointed. I will feel discombobulated. Wait, sasa jameni, waziri, unataka kutumaliza. Beatrice says devastated. I'm telling you, it's a feeling that is nowhere in this world. You are tired, you are broke, possibly you have used a lot of money to get to this place. But do you know what? A lack of an identity is like walking around with the wrong key. You realize that life is packaged in certain way that your identity helps you to connect yourself to the right places. But if you have the wrong identity, you will get yourself into what we call identity crisis. So people start using drugs and substance abuse. People start getting into retrogressive behaviors because they're trying to supplement what the identity is lacking on. And the moment you lack on your identity, you miss out on your purpose. And the moment you miss out on your purpose, you miss out on impact. In fact, the community and the society will be feeling so disappointed to have you around. Have you ever been with someone around and you feel this is a wasted connection? Now, if you miss out on identity, the people around you will feel like this is a wasted connection to have around me. Now, the main objective of this conversation tonight is just to help us get clarity of our personal identity, understand how your identity is linked to your purpose, and identify ways to harness your purpose for impactful leadership and transformation in your sphere of influence. I want to ask a question, and I want us to talk. Let me ask Festus to read the question on the screen. Festus, read the question on the screen. Festus, are you there? Okay, seems Festus is on route. But I want to ask us for a moment. Just read the question on the screen. Take time and read that question on the screen. And I want some people just to be vulnerable and to the extent that you may, just tell us what's one word that currently defines the way you view and feel about yourself and the direction your life is taking. What's one word that currently defines the way you view and feel about yourself and the direction your life is taking? All right. Let me stop sharing my screen so that we get to interact a bit. Fulfilling. I think okay, Mary, you can just go first. I can see your hand is up.
One word that I've been thinking a lot about nowadays is alignment. I really want my life to be aligned to God's purpose and God's will, even in this season.
I love that. Alignment. And you know what, Mary? I think mechanical engineers will tell you that a car that is out of alignment consumes a lot of fuel. I know you know that.
Yes, I do. And I agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that word alignment is such a big word for even for our reflection as a team. Thank you, Mary, for helping us on that. Any other person before I get into the before I get into the chat. What's one word that defines that you can technically say this is the way I'm feeling about myself and the direction of my life? Yes, Dennis, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Kanda. I think for me, one word that is really defining me at the moment is growth.
Growth.
I'm finding myself really pursuing that, and not really necessarily career-wise or anything, but just trying to find the purpose that I want to fulfill at the end, and at the same time trying to find ways of how can I grow to be at par with the purpose that I want to fulfill. Thank you.
I love that. I love that. Growth. And growth is painful. I know you know that. Growth is so painful. All right, that is quite interesting to hear. Let me hear from Lillian Wairimu. Hi, Lillian, talk to us. Lillian, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, I am well. One thing that can describe me right now is consistent. I feel like I am very consistent right now with what I love doing, and yeah, I think I am getting fulfilled that the consistency is building up to something that I would want to do and what I would want to delve in. Thank you.
I love that. I love that consistency. Consistency is the key word for Lillian. Let me hear from. I had seen Steve Okoth. I can.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Good. One word for me would be transformation. I've been going through some tough times in terms of work. I'm part of a co-founder, if I could say, but business has not been that good for a very long time. But recently, over the past 3 months, I got a consulting gig with a certain South African company that has really transformed my life, not just financially, but also spiritually and emotionally. So the word for me would be transformation.
Wow, transformation. And someone was just dropping this spanner into us, and he was saying, and I think this will make a lot of sense to you, Steve, that transformation is when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. Change is when a frog, when a tadpole becomes a frog.
Yeah, true.
Because the constituent that makes up a caterpillar is not the same thing that is within the body of a butterfly. But you see, for for a tadpole, it's the same constituent that becomes a frog. It's just growth and sort of transformation in that kind of an order. But I know that's just something we need to think about. But I had someone saying that, and possibly it will make a lot of sense to you. Thank you, Steve, for helping us with that word. Okay, let me read a few comments. Let me read a few comments here. Okay, let me just Steve, maybe you can mute. All right, so let me see here. Catherine Artiti says purposeful, deteriorating. Edward is saying deteriorating. Edward, do you mind sharing with us what is going on in your space?
Good evening, team.
Evening, Edward.
Okay. So basically, what has been happening, I've been in sort of leadership, but again, I've been going through a lot of emotional damage because of these marriage things. So far, I can say I've actually resigned 2 jobs because I could not manage my family. I am in my 3rd job. It's not easy. So I'm just trusting God and praying. Apart from that, definitely there is an organization. I started the process of registering. It got to a point, I think even the name and done the application for expired. Yeah, but I'm trusting God as I work with my mentor, Yokanda, things will change. Thank
Yeah,
you, guys.
it shall be well, Edward. It shall be well. Leadership has moments, and one of those moments are tough moments. And tough moments makes up tough leaders, and tough leaders make better decisions. So I pray you'll just go through the season and become a better leader. So hold up. All right. Someone is saying your focus in between. So Valerie is saying, Valerie, do you mind sharing with us? But Naomi is saying expectancy. I would say this season is discovery. That is Julius. Deborah is saying focused. Great. Those are good comments. For me, I will say one word that defines this season of my life is transformative. Transformative one. This year has been a year of growth. Like I've been stretched to the core. I've been in spaces and in platforms that have really helped, called me to think on my feet in so many ways. And that has toughened my muscle, especially as a leader and someone who is doing quite a number of things at the same time. And for me, that kind of transformative season has also helped me to have peace with quite a number of seasons that are happening within the season. So you'll realize that you're going through a particular season as a leader, but this season also has subsets of seasons. So you're in moments of happiness, but also in moments of it's a feeling of downward a trajectory or spiral moment or something downward spiral, as I can say. But all those seasons, they make you as a person, and it's so important that you go through all those mini seasons within the season. All right, let's continue. Let's continue with our conversation. Now, that is going to be the form of our talk. This is just not going to be a lecture. We are going to have some stop moments where I call them pit stops, so we just get to talk and converse. Okay, let me just pull up my screen one more time. So I thank you so much for just opening up and telling us what's going on in your space. Now, let's take some journey. One time I was having a conversation with my dad that I met when I was 21 years old, my biological father, who has been a great friend to me. And I'd missed him for the 21 years because for the 21 years, the things that had happened in my life had given me a sort of a deteriorating face of what fatherhood looks like. But my dad, we have had quite a journey with him, and he has helped me to really grow and get affirmed in quite a number of ways. One day I was having a conversation with my dad, and he leaned forward and he told me something. If a hen is laying on eggs and that hen helps sort of the chicks to come out of the shell by breaking the shell of the eggs, you realize that those chicks will come out and all of them will die. But it's upon the chicks to sort of break the shell by themselves and come out. And when I was preparing for this presentation, I met this quote that says, if an eagle, no, sorry for that. If an egg is broken by outside force, life ends. But if broken by the inside force, life begins. And it says that great things always begins from inside. Now, dear ones, you'll realize that if you're inside, if you're going through a lot of turbulence within your soul, within the inside part of you, and all of us in the silence of life, we always have internal conversation that speaks so louder than the conversation that are happening outside. And where do those conversations come from? What happens within your own soul? And you realize that if that force is not helping you to grow and become, there is no greatness that will be pulled out of you. But if pressure is just pushing you and pressing you up, you're going to die out of disappointment and frustration. Now, I want to take us through like 4 steps of how we come to the statistics of where we are and where we need to go. If you want to make some great milestones going forward, you need to take a 4-dimensional journey, so to say. First of all, you need to start by looking back. Now, many of us, the happenings of life has never given us an opportunity to look back and appreciate what we have gone through. You realize that there is no experience or anything you've gone through in life that is wasted. Everything you've gone through in life was important to get you here. And even the people, the uncles who told you, you finish your degree and then bring us the certificate and then we'll get you a job, and they did not. Those very people were necessary to shape you up so that you get to know that if you live with this mentality of dependency, you will never go far. Therefore, when you look back, you're able to appreciate what happened in your life before. Now, we have all heard this phrase, forgive and forget. The interesting thing about looking back, or your past, looking at your past, you will never look at your past and forget. And you know how sometimes people tell you, oh, just forgive and forget. You will never, ever. I will tell you for a fact. And if someone has an argument, maybe you can just bring it on. We try to see how we can level that up. You have to look at your past and make a commitment to outgrow your past. If your past is better than where you are today, there is a big disconnect. And therefore, it will call upon you to sit down with yourself and ask yourself difficult questions like, where did I grow up? How was my childhood? Who inspired my childhood? Where did I get to know that I'm a man? When did I get to know that I'm a woman, or that I'm a lady of honor, that I'm a lady of substance? Who affirmed that kind of a reality? Who told me that I'm a man enough? Was it because you got your first job? Was it because you could pay rent for the first time? What really informed the kind of a person that you are today? When you look at your past, you do an audit, you're able to ask yourself, in what ways am I not outgrowing my past? If your ex, if you remember how you did life with your ex, and you still tell God, Aki, take me back to those moments. Let me tell you, you're not making progress. You're not making progress. Each one of us, and let me just throw this joke. Each one of us, we need to be doing better than our exes. I don't know the relationship experts who are here, but if you're going to look back and admire where you came from, and admire the days that were old, and admire the things that used to happen before, the days that passed, it means you are stuck. It means you are stuck. If you're here and you're saying, Aki, my ex, and I just feel like going back, there is a problem. You are living in a cocoon that is so wrapped, and the environment is so bad that you can't break free from it. And today I've come to challenge you. Break free from that cocoon. Make peace with your past and outgrow it. Make a commitment to outgrow where you came from. In fact, someone said that when you're 25 years and below, you can confidently say, I came from a poor background. But when you're 25 years and above, you're the background. And therefore, the question is, what kind of a background are you laying for the people who will come after you? You have to let me tell you, dear ones, I know what poverty looks like. And poverty is never humble. There is no day I stand before people and say, I came from a humble background. I came from a poor background, and poverty is never humble. And I don't appreciate when I look back how I grew up. And every single day, I'm making an appointment with my destiny. I wake up, I go down on my knees to pray and ask God, Lord, would you just give me the strength for today? The strength to approach the person that I need to approach, the strength to do the things that I need to do, because I need to get better. Naomi, you're making me laugh. Number 2, look within. Now, looking within is asking yourself, what do you have now? Is looking at what you have now. After you have done an audit of where you've come from, you ask yourself, what do you have now? Some of us, we have gone through the university, you have a degree. It may not be the thing that you like to do, but you have a degree. How has that degree shaped the kind of a person that you are today? That is a difficult question that you need to ask. And what is it that you can turn out to become? I did Bachelor's of Science in Biochemistry. And when I was finishing my last paper from Kenyatta University, I knew for sure I'm not going to practice biochemistry. And I asked myself a difficult question. What has this experience in school made me to become? And I realized that the experience in school has made me to become a person that can speak to influence. And I started telling myself, the experience through the school gave me an opportunity to get into leadership responsibility. That is when I made a commitment and I told myself, never again am I going to beg people for a platform to speak. I'm going to create mine, and whatever it will cost me, I'm going to do it. And I started from the scratch. The first meeting I ever did was attended by 8 people. And by the time we were finishing that conversation, we were only 3 people. And these 3 guys were my friends. And I told my friends, oh, guys, I'm just looking forward to start this and this. Would you help me with some of the ideas? And those 3 brothers, one of them serves as one of the board of directors in my organization. And the other, actually 2 of them, one of them is called Ogada, and the other one is called Dalmas. Both of them, they serve in the board of directors in the NGO, and the other one is just a friend of mine. So the question is, when you look within, you're trying to assess, and we'll be getting into that. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your areas of opportunity? And what are your threats, so to say? So you sort of do like a SWOT analysis of yourself. You look at what are your abilities? What can you do? And then you ask yourself, what are my skills? What have I gone to school to be trained on? You are a nurse. How can you turn that into something that can now start making an income for you? So you look within. Number 3, you look up. Now, each one of us, we are God conscious. And we do not exist by illusion. We exist by understanding that there is a maker of our lives. The question therefore becomes whether you are you're a Christian or a Muslim. All of us, we believe that God is the one who helps us in our moments of life here on earth. And therefore, you come to the question of asking, what is God's response concerning where I have come from and what I have in my hands now? And that's when you make a commitment and ask God, would you open my eyes to see what I need to see? So what is God's response concerning your past and what you have now? Now, putting that together, you need to ask yourself the last question, which is look forward. What does the future looks like? After you have done an audit of your past, you've done an audit of what you have in your hands by the virtue of the experience you've had, and then you've had some sort of a God's response towards that, and that comes in form of your prayers. And wherever and whenever you do that, and how that looks like to you, there must be a response that God is calling you to do, either as a leader, as a founder, like Steve. Sometimes you put together like you're a founder of this particular initiative, you start it and money disappears. You keep on pushing because there is something that needs to come out of it. And then you start now looking forward. How does this look like in future? Where do you need to go? Who do you need to become? Now, when you look forward, this is important, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you to listen to this very, very keenly. When you look forward, there are strategic people who are also looking forward. Have this consciousness of being so versatile in your conversation with people and get to know the people that you need to journey with forward. Now, this is the caveat. Some of those people may not look like where you want to go, but time will tell that at some point of your conversation, those people are going to turn out to the people that you will ever need in your journey of forward. Nowadays, the people who call me to train their staff, some of those people we grew up together. Now they're starting companies. Now they're starting organizations. They call me to tell me, hey, some of these people are working in companies and institutions. They recommend my name. If you fail to have the discernment to having conversation with the people who are going towards that direction, you're going to get tired of the journey, because the journey of life is meant for us to have 1 or 2 people who helps us to go in that direction. I hope that helps someone. Now, 3 critical questions of life, and this is where I'm going to take us through so fast but so deeply. The first question that every one of us should be asking: where did you come from? Where did I come from? Your source gives you an identity. When you know where you came from and how that has inspired the kind of a person that you are today, you know how to connect with the world around you. Number 2, and you're going to respond to these questions as we go, why am I here? Answers the question of purpose or meaning. Why are you existing? The truth of the matter is this, ladies and gentlemen. You are not born, and then God started figuring out, hey, Naomi has been born. What should we be doing with her? Hey, Steve has founded an organization, an institution. What should we be doing with him? No. In fact, we are God's past tense. I mean, God already finished everything that concerns our lives. And every single day, it's a journey of discovery, self-discovery, discovering of your purpose, discovering of your direction of life. And that answers the question of why are you here? Number 3, where am I going? Is a question of destiny and destiny that inspires eternity. One day, one time, you will be no more. The question is, where are you going after that? Now, there's some elusive people who have given very elusive answers. So there are people who imagine that human existence is a colossal kind of an accident, where it is a combination of blind chance and dumb luck. While others have actually answered to this question and they have said that it is immaterial. These questions are immaterial. That we can wish these questions away if we just ignore them. Let me tell you, the person who ignores identity, they ignore purpose, they ignore destiny, that person has no sense of direction. Because you realize that if you ignore these questions, the end result of your life will be no long-term purposeful kind of a life. You will be living every day with a sense of discouragement without a sense of hope and direction. Now, I want us to also talk in the course of this conversation, and I want some people who will be genuine enough to just answer a few questions that we have on board. This is the wheel of life, and I know maybe some of us, we understand this, the wheel of life. It just segments the things that intricately forms the daily lives that you're living in. So I want to ask a question. Which area of your life is doing well and why? Do we have some people who are willing just to share with us on this matter? Can see, is there anyone who is speaking and saying, okay, which area? If you look at this, someone who is just bold enough to talk, maybe I can just have like 2, a lady and a gentleman. If you do an assessment of the wheel of life, you look at your physical health, mental health, finances, career, fulfillment or satisfaction in life, fun and creativity, spirituality, your relationships. How can you rate them? 1 being extremely dissatisfied and 10 being fully satisfied. Do we have any volunteers? Someone who is willing just to tell us? Anyone who will wish to just shoot up their hand and give us some feedback? Also, if there is none, we will just continue so that I leave this as a... Yes, Dennis, go ahead.
So I think which area of my life is doing well and why? Currently, I'll say I have 2. There's this spirituality and relationship. This is why. On the part of spirituality, I've been really concerned about it and just trying to grow and to find myself and to find a connection between me and God, and trying to just ensure that it aligns with even the purpose of living. And then on the purpose, on the part of relationship, I'm trying to make intentional and meaningful relationships, whereby it's not just fun-filled a relationship, but a relationship that we are there for each other, help each other in terms of whether we are good or whether we are down. And then I'm always that person who tells my friends, or rather my fellow men, that let's not be there for each other when it's time for going to drink, for those who drink, and when it's time for supporting Man U and watching football alone. Let's be there for others in terms of I know Erima is good in poetry, and I have a friend who wants some poetic words and all that. Am I able to now find someone that is able to, maybe there's someone who writes poems. Can I refer that person to Erima? You see, And then there's
Okay.
that part of you are well in public speaking, you are well in writing. How can you help that person who's writing to grow and just show support to them? Yeah, thank you.
I love that. And do you mind telling us which area you're doing poorly and why?
I'll be honest. You see, this part of a physical health, it's not really giving me the way I want, because at a point I started gym, but then I think the consistency wasn't for me. It really
Mm.
um, pulled me down. But then
Mhm.
I'm trying to like just adjust slowly by slowly and trying to work on it. But that's one part I'll say that has been poorly, like really poorly. So the
I
other
see.
ones I'm just trying to leverage them.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dennis, for just being open. And I'll give each one of us an assignment. Please, okay, Phoebe, it's okay. You can share through the chat. That's okay. And feel free, if you are comfortable, just feel free to share within the chat. I will give you guys an assignment. Please make sure you take a screenshot of this. Sit down with yourself, do a personal audit, and ask yourself, which area are you doing poorly? And why are you doing poorly? And which area are you doing well? And why are you doing well? And you realize that if it's the issue of consistency in one area, not consistency in the other sort of a section, you realize that there is a way you can migrate or sort of correlate consistency. Like for myself, my spiritual discipline has really impacted my physical discipline, and my physical discipline has really impacted my mental discipline. My mental discipline has really impacted my career discipline because I've had to dive into quite a lot of reading and personal growth. My career discipline has impacted my sense of fulfillment as an individual. My sense of fulfillment as an individual has impacted my finances because I'm able to make a living out of what I'm doing as an individual. And from that, I've been able to find fun and creativity in the things that I do. I don't struggle training people. I don't struggle doing the things that I do because I've been able to make sure that this wheel is not out of alignment. And when you realize that your life is out of alignment, it means one of the areas within this wheel is not functional. And you are putting more emphasis on one area and forgetting the other. So that is important. I saw Beatrice's hand was up. Beatrice, do you want to share something with us? Okay. All right. Maybe Beatrice, you can go next when we'll be having another opportunity. All right. So therefore, what is the question of identity? Because this thing about identity is connected with your will of life. And that will of life sort of gives you the way you connect with people. Let me just go back. If your identity is not secured, you'll find that one or two parts of the wheel of life are not functional. Because if you're struggling with your finances is directly related to your identity. Your mental health is directly related to your identity, and all other segments of this wheel are directly related to your identity. So for you to have a whole wheel, you need to have a whole identity, so to say. And identity, basically, with clear definition, it is the unique characteristics or values, beliefs, and experiences ton of values. Sorry, I think I got distracted. Are you guys able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
I can hear you.
Great, thank you, thank you. So you realize that your physical characteristics, your values, your beliefs, your experiences, they shape the kind of a person that you are. And identity is the foundation of authenticity in both your personal life and professional life. So you realize that people who struggle with identity, they are not authentic. They are living a double life. There is this kind of a life you pull when you are with your boss. This is a kind of a life that you try to pull when you're with your peers that is not consistent. You lack consistency in your identity as a person. Now, key components. Number one is values. Now, what principles or standards are most important to you as an individual? What defines you as a person? What makes you as a person? What are those things if you're waking up at 3 a.m. in the night, you can confidently say no to? Now, that defines your principles and standards as an individual. Number two, your beliefs as a person. What do you believe about yourself and the world around you? You realize that there are people who let me tell us, guys, during COVID-19, when the world was in so much turbulence, there are people who are able to, in fact, I think it's statistics that says that they were able, because of that sense of hope, that sense of belief in how they see themselves and the world around them. These people, some of them were stricken down by the virus, but they were able to find healing with not really because of medication, but because of that belief, because of how they could see and take some sense of sense, make sense out of what is happening in the world. Number three is your skills and your strengths. Now, your skills and your strength is what unique abilities and talents makes you as an individual. Now, if you do a statistics, and I'll really encourage us, guys, after this call, maybe some of us, you just need to jump into this conversation again and listen in. If you have not done an audit of what skills do you have, what strengths do you have, you will be broke in life. You'll be broke both financially and finding satisfaction in life. You will be emotionally empty because you do not find a way in which you can serve the world around you with your skills and your strength. And those things, they form up your identity as an individual. The last one is life experiences. Now, how has been your past experience shaped the kind of a person you are today? If you're here and you've gone through a tough kind of an upbringing, you need to have a serious conversation with yourself. Even if you had a very awesome upbringing. Some of us, we don't know what trouble looks like. We have been enjoying pizza every day since the time you were born. Let me tell you, there is a way you grow up with a mentality that cannot sustain you for life. If you've grown up with this sense of entitlement, everything is given to you, and the world does not work that way. So you are babied when you're growing up, and then you get to the university, you realize that life is tough, and then you start going the road of mental health, mental instability, because you feel like I have this, and when I need something, I get it. But you realize that life does not work out that way. So out of this sense of you finding your identity, you're able to connect with the world in a better place. And by you finding your value, belief, skills, and talents, and also your life experiences, you're able to make meaning out of how you've become as an individual. Now, one of the assignments I'm going to give you is this. I want you to write down. I don't know what's happening. Someone is helping me to work on the slides. All right, someone please stop. So I want to give you guys an assignment. I want you to write down 3 core values and 3 core strengths that represent the kind of a person that you are. 3 core values and 3 core strengths that represent your identity. Your values, at least 3 of them, and 3 of your strengths. Now let's jump into this your purpose, so that we're able to finish on time. I want to finish in the next 15 minutes. Now, discovering your purpose. This is, how do you link or finding the link between your identity and your purpose? Now, number 1, your purpose flows out of your identity. You don't have purpose if you don't have a sense of identity. And this identity that you're talking about is influenced by your life experiences, the skills and expertise that you've gathered along the way, and a sense of belief that you've built, and a sense of which now pours into a sense of purpose that you have. Now, this is the same thing that when you talk about character or your behavior as a person, you realize that if you want to change your character or your behavior, you don't change your character and your behavior. You don't even start by changing your habits. You realize that your character and your behavior starts with a thought. Your thought makes up an action. So if you have this thought, these thoughts that you have pushes you to make a particular action. Your action pushes you to form a particular sense of habits. So these actions, when repeatedly done, they wire you to have a particular sense of habits. Now, this is it. You're waking up in the morning and your mind goes on first thing. Let me check how many people have liked the post I did last night before I sleep. That's a thought. Now, that thought will push you to grab your phone that you placed beside your bed when you're sleeping, which is a very bad habit. Now, that thought pushes you to take up your phone, and that is an action. Now, that action gives you the habit of every day when you wake up, the first thing that you do is picking up your phone. Now, this habit creates a particular behavior that every day your mind is always, tickled to the first thing to do is social media. So your behavior becomes your social media oriented in the morning, the first thing you do when you're waking up. Now, this is it. For you to change this kind of a behavior, you don't start by wishful thinking. You need to start with a thought. So what will be the thought? The thought will be, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I want to do is to pray, for those who pray in the morning, or to read a book, for those possibly people who do read the book in the morning. You have that thought. Now that thought, now I'm giving you a case example. That thought will push you to make an action. The action will be, if you come, I have two study tables in my room. So I have a study table on my back, and I have another study table on this other front part of my desk. And this is possibly where I do quite a lot of thinking. So before I sleep, I will put a book on my desk. I'll put a book on my desk. The next action will be, before I sleep, I'm going to put my phone so far that when the alarm rings, I'm not going to grab my phone with anger. You know how you grab your phone with anger when the alarm goes off in the morning. So I'm going to put my phone away from me, so that when the alarm goes, I'm going to wake up from my bed, pick my phone, and then sort of stop my alarm and wake up. And when I wake up, on my table, I have a book. Now, that book will give me the habit of reading in the morning. That is the habit. The behavior will be, I read in the morning. That is the behavior. So if you're going to sort of twitch your identity as an individual, you need to start with a thought. You don't start with the behavior. Now, that's why we are saying your purpose flows from your identity. Now, the second thing is this. Once you understand who you are, you can discover why you are here and what you are meant to do here. So the who flows from the why and the what. So if the why is not clear, and that's why Simon Sinek wrote the book Find Your Why, and he has also written another book, Start With Why. And those are two books that I'll encourage us to go and read. But lastly, purpose is often found at the intersection of what you are good at. Listen, what you're good at, what you care about, and how you can serve others. So what you're good at, what you care about, and how you can serve others. Now, all these things, they are combined up to form what we call passion. So you're passionate about something, but this is the catch. And I want you to, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I made a post yesterday about from passion to purpose. You realize that if you only have passion can only get you started, but it cannot get you anywhere. So when you have the passion of what you're good at, you need to make sure that this passion connects with a particular need with the people around you. And this need around you can make you serve people around you. From there, you start cracking out the purpose. So Janet will tell you that the reason as to why she's working with the women in Baringo County is because she's good at breaking down policy. And for her, now that she's good at breaking down policy, she's looking at policy issues that are affecting women around Baringo County. So when she has understood what she's good at and what she cares about, she's able to serve the people that have a problem in that thing, in what she's good at, so to say. So this three-dimensional view of purpose helps you to connect well with the world around you. Yeah. That's good, Benwell. Thank you for that comment. All right, let's continue. I'm going to give us an opportunity to ask questions. Now, the difficult job is this: finding your why. Finding your why is a difficult job. Let me tell us, guys, the reason as why I'm having this conversation with you today and the 87 people who are on this call is this. If purpose was easy to find, the world would not be where it is today. But because purpose is not automatic, we are living in too much confusion right now. And you will do yourself good if you make sure that you crack your purpose as soon as you can. Because you will do yourself well, you'll do the people around you well, but you'll do your generation even better. Now, there is this thing we call, there is something, there's this four circles that are on your screen. So the first thing is this: if you're going to crack the question of your why, number one question that you need to ask yourself is what does the world need? Or looking at what does the world need? Now, when you answer that question, you look at what is the mission and what is your vocation. Possibly it's something you've gone to school to study, or something that you've taught yourself growing up and now you're putting your thoughts together. So look at what the world needs. In this moment of precipice, where we are living in global conflict and peace is becoming a global pandemic, what does the world need? If you walk around where you are born and raised, looking at the needs around your community, what would be communicated to you as a person? But because many people are blinded to the problems that are around us, we continue to live in a broken world. But if you can shorten your sleeves and put your hands to work, you're going to find yourself the reason why you exist. Now, let me drop this for our consideration. Purpose comes as work in apron, or comes as work in apron to be done. And you see something that is in an apron it doesn't look cute. But you see, that is how purpose looks like. Purpose comes in manners and ways that sometimes you can sort of look down at it. But that is how you need to respond as an individual. Number two, what you can get paid for. Now, we are not just saying you volunteer the rest of your life. You need to ask yourself, if this is what the world needs, is it something that I can pay for to do it? So I realized in my life, people struggle with public speaking and communication. And I told myself, I will not do, because this is what many trainers do. Many trainers say, oh, I'm good at public speaking, and they jump into the training gigs and all that. I told myself, I'm going to set myself apart in this kind of a pool of people who train people how to speak publicly. And I told myself, I'm going to sit down and write a book. And I did write a book. As we speak right now, I've trained over 200 professionals, and each of these people have a copy of my book. So I found what the world needs, and I was able to ask myself, can I get paid for? And therefore, my gift and my skill is something that the world needs, and I'm able to be paid for. So by that, I've been able to crack the why of why I am here. And on the 30th of November, when we'll be launching the public speaking book here in Nairobi, and I'll be inviting you guys. We're also launching the A to Z of public speaking for teenagers. And you guys will be seeing a post on that, because I believe the problem we are having with all adults in terms of them speaking is it starts in the teenagehood, and that various things I've written on that. It's going to be an intense book for teenagers. So you need to make sure that you crack the question, what does the world need, and can I get paid for? But the third thing is this: are you good at it? So look at your capacity. Have you built capacity around it? Now, the thing is this: if you have not built capacity around it, you do not even care about it. God, listen, and maybe someone should tweet this and quote me. No, I'm just flossing anyway, but take that lightly. God honors men and women who sit down to build capacity for in their areas of purpose. God honors them. When you wake up in the morning, reading a book, getting yourself on YouTube, looking at a video, checking out on how things are done, God honors those steps. Those things that you do in the secret, God honors them. And if you're good at it, invest time in it. Work yourself through it. Make sure that you are investing time to work on it. So build capacity around what you're good at. It is the worst thing to be the best kept secret. No one wants to be the best kept secret. You need to make sure that you're working yourself up. And one of the conversations we're going to have in one of the weeks is how do you leverage social media platforms? And we'll be helping some of you guys know how to set up a social media platforms that turns followers into clients, so that you don't just say I have 2,000 followers. How are you serving those followers? Those are the conversations we're looking at. But you serve people based on what you're good at. And the last thing is this: do you love it? Not do you like it. There's a difference between do you like it and do you love it. Do you like it has a mental view on it. Do you love it has an emotional connection towards it. Something that you're emotionally connected to is so hard to let go. I have an emotional connection to the things that I do. When I sit down and spend sleepless nights writing a book, like I finished writing the A to Z of public speaking for teenagers yesterday night, and I was sleeping at around 4:30. Well, that is not prescriptive. I'm not telling you guys to go sleep at 4:30, but it's just descriptive. But because I love it and I really wanted it to be out in record time, because I started writing that book together with this public speaking for adults. So the question is, do you love it? Do you have an emotional connection towards it? When you have an emotional connection towards it, it becomes so difficult for you to lose it, so to say. Now, some bit of exercise that I want to give you, and I hope you guys are taking notes, because possibly it's important that you're taking notes. Step one: list your skills, passion, and areas where you feel you can serve or add value. List those skills. You are an accountant. You have been in the profession for 20 years. What are those 20 years taught you as a person? I am sick of a society whereby we help companies draft strategic plans for 10 years and you do not have a strategic plan for 30 days. That is self-sabotage. Make a commitment with yourself and say, tomorrow I'm not going to help someone realize their dream when I don't have mine. There is no way you can be putting structures for a company and you do not have structures around what you're doing as a person. So I want you to list down the skills you have. You're good in monitoring and evaluation. How many companies are looking for monitoring and evaluation officers? You're good. You have a passion for girls. How can you turn that passion into purpose? So I want you to list them down and how you can add value. Number two, reflect on your past experience where you felt fulfilled and impactful. Now, what patterns or themes emerge from that? If you reflect on your past experience and you look at areas where you find fulfillment and impact, what patterns and themes emerge from that? Now list that down. Step number three, use these reflections to draft a personal purpose statement that answers the question of why am I here and what am I meant to do? So after you have listed down the skills, passion, and areas, reflect on one of the moments you felt so fulfilled and impactful, and what are those themes that emerge? What are those things? What did people say about that kind of a moment? Your purpose is deeply connected to your personal identity, and it drives you to create meaningful and fulfillment in both your personal and professional life. Take that to the bank. Now, translating purpose into impact, we are coming to an end. Now, okay. Okay. So I saw some prompts here. That's why I was sort of I stopped to think. Now I know we have really talked a lot about that, about identity and purpose. Now let's try to finish this conversation by looking at how do you translate your purpose into impact. Now, impact is how you influence, change, and contribute to your environment or context or the people around you. So you have this strong sense of identity that you have built over the years. And this sense of identity has given you a sense of purpose and meaning. How then are you influencing change and contribute to your environment or context or the people around you? Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Legacy is not written on the walls. Legacy is written on the wall, on people's heart, on the walls of people's heart. And people will always remember how you made them feel, how your life was impactful to them. Hillary, I can see there's something going on our screen. Now, the other thing about impact is this. You need to make a meaningful impact. In order for you to make a meaningful impact, so to say, you must align your actions with your purpose. And these actions, we talk about your habits and the things that you do every single day. So the question is, if you do an audit of your actions, your habits, in the past, today we are on day 11, in the past 11 days, do you think you are headed in the right direction? And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, opportunities have bypassed some of us because it met a person that it could not identify with. Because most of the opportunities that will come your way will be looking for a particular person that is stronger, better, and well-nourished to serve. Then that is the question I'm asking yourself. You must align your actions to your purpose. Now, steps to creating impact. Number one, you need to clarify your goal. So identify specific ways you can use your strength. And we talked about strength when we were talking about identity. How you can use your strength and purpose to address needs or gaps in your community or workplace. Some of us, if you just go to, tomorrow is on Saturday, on Monday when you report to work, I want to give you an assignment. Go sit down with your boss. If you have a good camaraderie with your boss, just go sit down with your boss and ask your boss, what are some of the challenges we are going through as a company at this season of time? If the boss is genuine enough and if he's a leader without who is not concentrated in the title, the boss will tell you some of the gaps and needs within the place where you work. Go reflect on those needs and gaps and ask yourself, how will your strengths and your skills help your boss to resolve those kind of gaps? When you do that, dear ones, it's going to be so hard for you to be replaced. But when you just do the bare minimum, there is no way you're going to leave impact anywhere. But number two, connect your goals with a big problem around you. Look at the problem. Let me tell us, guys, if we are just discerning enough, if we are observant, and I pray that your eyes will be open as you live every single day. There are so many problems. So how does your goals connect with the problems that are around you? That's how you identify how you're going to be impactful. Then number three, build influence. And I'm not taking you to be a social media influencer. That is not what I'm talking about in this conversation. But what I'm saying is this: develop skills and a network that enable you to influence others positively. So when you've identified the big problem, look at the skills that you need. And those skills are around you. If you don't have those skills, look for them. Nowadays, you can harvest skill by you sitting yourself down and training yourself to think. You are able to merge and connect those skills and build networks around you that will help you now start to solve those problems. And I emphasize on this. And there's a class we'll do in one of the weeks on building social capital or leveraging on social capital. And how do you identify networks? How do you use social media to identify networks? Now, the last thing is consistency. Create habits and routines that allow you to live out your purpose daily. Habits and routines. And make sure that you're not just adding on habits and routine, you are deleting habits and routines that are making you so dysfunctional. And every single day you need to make sure that you're doing that. Now, the exercise is easy. I just want you to reflect on where you would like to make an impact. Where would you want to make an impact? And I've given you a case scenario of your place of work. Number two, define small actionable steps. Do you guys know what Simon Sinek talks about in the book in the book Atomic Habits, there's this principle called the aggregation of marginal gains, and it talks about how do you make up small actionable steps that contribute to the bigger success that you need to look at. So I want to ask you, define small. Oh, James Clear, sorry. Eddie, thank you for correcting me. James Clear on the book Atomic Habits. Now, Eddie is a reader, very good reader. Now, define small actionable steps you can take over the next 6 months to live out your purpose and create impact in these areas. So make sure that, and these things need to be small. Let me tell us, guys, stop this pressure of reading 3 books every month. Those people who are telling you, I read 4 books every month. I read 10 books in a week. I read 80 books in a year. I read 100 books in 1 year. Those are just hot air. I want to encourage you, and I remember Eddie hosted me for a conversation where we were talking about leadership and readership. Like for the past 2 months, I've been reading one book that I've been soaking myself into it because I want to sip a lot from it. And it can just be every single day, you're going to read just one chapter of a book. One chapter of a book, just one. You're not going to read 30 books, just one chapter. And every single day, you're going to take 20 minutes to work out. The reason as to why many of us stopped working, we actually stopped going to the gym the 3rd week of January is because we were going to the gym for 2 hours. And if the next day you woke up, you're like, I'm not going to that damn gym. I'm not going there. So the thing is this: you can just say, I'll like for myself. Let me give a case example. I work out 25 minutes. 25 minutes in 4 days every week. So in every week I'm working out for 4 days, and every of those 4 days I only work for 25 minutes, between 20 to 25 minutes, and I have like 10 different workouts that I do. No, there are 12 different workouts that I do. So all these, they're small steps. So look at those small steps that you're going to do for the next 6 months, and then who will hold you accountable? Find someone who you're going to report to. And if you need to report to me, please make sure you do that. I'll be able to help you a lot. Now, realize this: impact is the visible result of aligning your identity and purpose. By focusing on your strength and values, you can create a lasting change in your environment, because that is important. Now, allow me to stop there for now and ask for questions and comments. And I just want to hear how this conversation has impacted you. We are coming to an end. We're supposed to finish at 9:30. Anyone with a question, you can just lift up your hands. All right. I can see Janet Waziri. Go ahead.
Mine is not a question, Okanda. Mine would just be to take you for you to take us back to the purpose discovery map. I missed on step 3. I would like to take a note of that. Thank you.
Okay. You talked about purpose. Purpose step 3. So step 3 was this. The step 3 was use this reflective sort of questions that we developed from step 1 to step 2. And then out of this, develop a personal purpose statement that answers the question, why am I here and what am I meant to do? So from listing out your skills, passion, and areas where you feel you need to serve, and then reflecting on your past experience, and then now you're able to draft a personal mission statement. After this call, I'm going to add us in a WhatsApp group, another different WhatsApp. And I know some of us, you are in like 4 of my WhatsApp group, which is okay. But I want a space where we can be talking and just giving feedback on how this conversation is helping us. So in that WhatsApp group, each one of us is going to post your personal purpose statement. And out of that purpose statement, you're also going to out of that purpose statement, you're also going to develop a mission statement. So I hope Janet, that is okay.
Shukran sana.
All right, thank you. All right, Valerie, go ahead. I can see your hand is up, and if you had lifted up your hand, please make sure you keep it lifted. Yes, Val, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for what you've shared. It's been very informative, and I'm grateful to have been here. It's a lot, yes, and there are a lot of questions that we need to reflect on from the journey from looking green when talking about the wheel of life. It's like a lot of information, right? But then after, like, what is the action point from here now? Like, do you have to go sit down and check on one side? Is it one day thing that you can figure out in a day, or like it takes time? Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, that's a good question, Val. Let me tell you guys, finding your purpose is not an event. It's a life journey. That's why I don't know if you guys have been keen to observe that many people, after serving either the government for 20, 30 years, they go back to the village and they start organization to help people. My biggest question is, why were they not doing that when they were actively engaged? And of course, I know maybe the issue of priority, but you realize that some people, it's a eureka moment. They realize, hey, I've not left a mark in the community. And that is the moment they come back to themselves and say, I need to start something. So the thing is this, it's going to take time. And that's why I thought of developing a coaching club. This is going to be purely a club where we really engage and talk. Now, the thing is this, throughout the presentation, there's been moments of questions. Those questions were not there just for fun. I want you guys to go think and answer those questions. You'll realize that there is so much power when you answer a question and reflect. And I can tell you for sure, the reason as to I was able to discover who I am and what I'm being able to do at the moment is because of doing such kind of steps. So I'll encourage you as much as possible to sit down with yourself. And this can take 2 months, it can take 1 year, it can take 2 years, 3 years for others. But sure enough, if you're committed and consistent, this thing works. It works. Eddie, you can go next.
Thank you so much, Eugene. I think the presentation is awesome. Like, this is too much in 1 hour, 30 minutes. My question is on purpose and career. You mentioned that purpose is what you are born to do, what you're gifted to do, and career is perhaps what you are trained to do. And so I think there's a number of professionals here, and they were perhaps trained in an area that they're not really passionate about. And they may want to really pivot from career to their calling. And I know sometimes that shift can be slippery and someone can make a lifetime mistake. What are some of the recommendations you would make as a professional and a personal development trainer to a career person who want to pivot to their passion fully?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Eddie. That's a very deep question. Now, this is it. There is no experience that is wasted. Everything you have been trained to do, everything that you've gone to school to do, there is something it does to you. So after you have identified that this is going to be my passion, number one thing that I'll encourage as many of us to do, and maybe for me, that's not what I did. For me, I just jumped into my area of passion and area of purpose and calling. I made a very hard step of not getting into employment for the past 6 years, and I've been working on my stuff and building my stuff for those many years. For some of us here, you might need to be working in your career as you fuel your area of calling. So you'll find that the proceeds you make out of your career, you're able to build capacity for your calling. It will be a grave mistake for you to leave your career to chase your calling when you don't have structures in place. This is it. After you have identified your purpose, build structures around your purpose. What will you need? Some of us, you will need mentors. You will need coaches. You'll need people who can help you navigate that kind of an environment. So it is so important for you to make sure that you are using your career to prepare for your calling. And for some of us, you might be in your area of career. You can be in your area of career, and that area of your career is part of your calling. So your calling is not just going to preach. Your calling is not just going to do things that sometimes you will not be proud of. So you will make sure that you understand that your career can be your calling, but your calling can also be your career. So those are the 3 dimensions, whereby after you've gone through training and school, you purely say, I'm going to my calling, full blast, and you Of course, you will really struggle. I'll tell you for sure. I really, really struggled for my first 2 years. I really struggled, guys. I really, really struggled. It was so tough. It was so difficult. I remember that the days I could actually go without doing shopping, and I'm like, how am I going to pull this through? But right now, I look back and I look at how things have happened, and I'm so proud that I was able to make that decision. But for the others, make sure that you stick around your career so much that it gives you experience to work on your calling. So that is the second dimension. And then the third dimension is whereby you're able to you're able to simultaneously work your career and your calling, because your career is wrapped in your calling and your calling is wrapped into your career. I hope that helps someone here tonight. But thank you, Eddie, for that conversation, for that question. Dennis, I can see your hand is up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Panda. I think Eddie just was ahead of me by asking that question. Anyway,
Okay.
just a comment. It's been really a great conversation. And just to mention, I'll be having a talk with some high schoolers maybe on the 23rd of October this month. It will be on a Wednesday. And just talking about leadership and also the leadership styles. And Saokanda, please allow me to steal some of your knowledge and also some of your great quotes. You might see them somewhere. Just know is your mentee using them, and I'm the one. So don't worry, and I'll boast about you a lot. That one I can guarantee you that. But thank you so much for building us and just showing us the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, feel free to use all those knowledge and expertise, and please go and speak to those young champs passionately. All right, Angina, I can see your hand, and then I'll come to Alex.
Hi, thank you so much. It's really an enlightening session. Thank you so much. My question would be a follow-up to what you just shared. And it would come from, my question would be, like when you spoke about even career and calling being done simultaneously or something like that, what would you say to someone who is afraid that the passion for calling would override or even steal into their career time, or they would feel like they're struggling too much, to create the balance or the harmony, or they just feel like they will crash if they do both. Maybe one might suffer, and mostly I'm speaking from the people who the career might suffer. These are people who passion is driving, the zeal is hot, but they know that they need to have both ends of the rod. What should you speak into that? I'd love to pick your brain on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Ngina. That's a very deep question. Now, the truth of the matter is this: fear is not going to go away. By the way, if you're here, fear and faith, they coexist. You just need to know which one is speaking louder than the other and at what point. So you realize that, I will tell you for a fact, I'm a public speaker and I have done this over and over. I think I've clocked my 10,000 hour rule on public speaking. Last month, which month? No, not last month. That was it was in August. In August, I was in Dar es Salaam, and I was there with my fellow colleagues from the African United Nations Youth Delegates Program, and I'm given a sober introduction. I want to go on stage. I got to the stage, and my mind froze, literally froze. I had to think on my feet so fast to come back to my senses. Anyway, what I'm just saying is this: fear and faith will coexist. And you just need to know what are you paying attention to and at what point. Because you realize that whether you're full of faith, it doesn't mean you're empty of fear. And when you're full of fear, it does not mean you're empty of faith. It means the volume of one of eight of them has been turned up. So you just need to make sure that whatever needs to come out comes out clear. This is it. For those who are finding conflict, sorry, I think my internet got distracted for a moment. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you. For those who are finding conflict between your career and your calling, it means the values question is under the test. Now, and I want you guys to pay attention to this. Many times, you are going to work in environments that are going to smother your calling. And you need to be so genuine and courageous enough, because there are people who literally step out of their career to finding themselves. And most of the time, they morph to become one of the beautiful to take up one of the beautiful courses of their lives that they could have never realized if they were sticking into this toxic environment. If the environment is toxic and it's conflicting with your calling, and you know for sure this is my calling, but it's conflicting with my place of work. For some of us, you just need to have the boldness of stepping out and finding yourself. The third question, the third response to that is this: when you're working on your area of career, please try to invest as much as possible. Try to invest as much as possible. When you're able to invest, like for 1 year, there are people who are good in financial discipline, and that is one of the things we'll be having a conversation here about. And if you're there and you're good in financial wellness and all that, I can actually host you into this conversation. So because I just don't want to look like I have all the information that it's needed. If you're there and you are good in finances, please get to me. We can talk and see when we can host you and give you this platform. Now, what was I saying? If you're good in your financial discipline, you realize that you can invest enough for you to make a bold step to step out of your career as you build your calling. And you realize that your calling, after you've invested into it, please make sure that at some point it is able to put food on the table. No one said that your calling should be pro bono. No one said that. No one said that when God has called you and God has called you to this particular environment, you need to give people things for free. Please, that is not true. That is not what I know. So there is a way you can build your career, your calling, and you're able to make a living out of it. But it can only be done if you have invested your emotion, you have invested emotionally, you've invested mentally, and you've used your ears during your career to be able to build this. Now, this is the caveat. There are seasons you'll be in your career and it will be so difficult. But don't just quit because you need to quit. You can say, let me just persevere for this period of time, invest this amount of money, and be able to make the bold step. Now, that is different from what I said earlier, where you boldly make a step out of your career to start chasing your purpose and your calling, which sometimes when it starts, you're going to do a lot of pro bono. There is something in public speaking we call podium time. Podium time is the frequency of appearance on stage to speak. That frequency of appearance on stage to speak gives you credibility and confidence. So that when you're standing, there's a difference when you stand me on a stage with someone who has started speaking yesterday, because there is a podium time. Now, that podium time in your career life should prepare you for your influence in your area of calling. Gina, I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Now, I should stop at that. Very sorry for those who still have questions. Possibly we can put all that into the WhatsApp group. I'll be trying as much as possible to respond. After this, I'm going just to share with you individually the WhatsApp group link. Please make sure you join so that we are able to move together. So in conclusion, key points to highlight. Identity is foundational to knowing what you stand for. Purpose gives you direction and meaning, helping you understand why you do what you do. But impact is the result of aligning your identity and your purpose with your action that contribute to personal and community growth. Now, I'm going to stop there. Those are my two books. And as I said, if you want either of the copies, our pickup station is at Sour Mall. In fact, we have more copies of Build Up at Sour Mall, and each one of them goes for 1,000 shillings, and you can get them for yourself. And on on 26th and 27th, 25th and 26th of this month of October, I'm running this masterclass for guys who have been doing my public speaking and communication masterclass. This will be cohort 4 of a public speaking and communication masterclass. And these are just like 2 days training sessions. But if you want an extended 5-week personal coaching on public speaking, you can also just reach out to me, and then I'll be able to, we can plan for time and see how that can work. But I will encourage as many of you as possible to register for this masterclass. I'll be talking about emotional intelligence in communication. So all this information will be shared on our WhatsApp group. Now, as I come to an end, all this was free of charge. Like I do want to charge us for this coaching session, and it's going to be like that. But I am asking as many of you as possible. You can support this work. That you can support this work by just sending your little contribution to the till number that is projected on the screen. You can send as little as you have. It will go a long way to sustaining this masterclass. So that even when you're doing the session next week and the weeks to come, we are able to just move forward together. So I want to invite you guys to take maybe 1 or 2 minutes before we conclude to just go to your M-Pesas and send whatever you have to that till number. If this has been helpful for you, if this has been helpful to you, just feel free to support this work with anything that you have to support it with. Now, I want to invite someone. Any one of us who is a volunteer to give a comment. I'll ask a lady and a gentleman to just give a comment on how this has been. So if you're there and you want to volunteer yourself, you can just lift up your hand too, and then Gina, you can go first.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me start there. And one of the things that I picked as you started off is you came in from a place of inviting us to learn together, to grow together. And I admire how you've brought in together so many of us from different spaces to learn together. And thank you for taking in the time. Thank you for sharing all this wealth. And I want to encourage all of us to also consider to add value in every space that God has given to us. Just to mention, Okanda said, give as little as you can. I'll say the reverse. Give as much as you can. He didn't give as little as he could. He gave so much to us. Thank you so much, Okanda. I've been learning and just watching that space. You're doing very well. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you. Truly, truly, truly appreciate. That is so warm. I really, really appreciate you. Now, I want to invite Alex to give a comment on behalf of the gentlemen in the call tonight. Alex, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to really express my gratitude, and on behalf of the other gentlemen in the team. So honestly, this has been so profound. It has been insightful moment, and I think among the things that I've picked from this session is that we have to make an intentional appointment with our destiny. Like, poverty is never humble. That one has really touched me, and I'm actually transformed by it. Therefore, we are really encouraged by your work, and who knows, maybe all you can say is that God grants you more favor and more insights to continue impacting life. So we honestly appreciate, and top G. We keep fighting till the end. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Alex. Truly, truly appreciate your kind words. I can see my good friend has lifted up her hand. I cannot even dare to let her go without saying a word. Karen, you can just go ahead and say something.
Hi, Eugene, and hi, everyone. Thank you so much for that impactful discussion. For me, I've seen growth in my career, and also for being in this conversation and interacting with Eugene, I've seen transformation. For the purpose, I'll say and encourage everyone that when you want something, the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter. I'm a testament. When I was young, I used to say, like, I want to have a rehab. I want to help the community, but I didn't know how. Until by God's doing, he made it. I got the connections, network, building relationships, my spiritual life, physical health, mental health, and I'm now supporting the community and living my best life. Thank you so much for this impactful discussion.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. Thank you so much, Karen. I truly, truly appreciate for that. I can see Naomi's hand is out. Naomi, you know, I can't let you go without saying something. Just mute your mic and chat first.
First, thank you for taking your time for this session. I would say
Naomi, your mic is not very clear. I don't know if you're using earphones or something.
Thank you for this opportunity. I've really learned a lot, and I'm in a place where I want to grow. There's a saying that goes this way, that you can't give what you don't have. So first you have to be equipped so that you can make an impact there outside. Yeah, like for my case, in most of the events I have held, many people have reached out to me, say that I've been a channel of hope to them. That's because my hope was renewed. That's why I'm able to give them hope. About communication skill, I want to communicate better, enhance my communication skills, and also I want to overcome my past, because I've had a messed up past, but I thank God I'm better, and I believe better days are ahead. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Naomi. Thank you so much. We truly, truly appreciate you. And that comment really goes a long way. Now, thank you so much, guys. Let's bring this conversation to an end. You can feel free to just follow me on social media platforms. That is my name across social media platforms. Okanda S. Eugene, across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And if you feel like you want to look at if this conversation makes sense, just go search me out on social media, and you'll be able to continuously get inspired. Allow me to make a prayer and bring this conversation to an end. I think let me stop the sharing. Let me just make a prayer, and then we'll be going to rest. Father, we thank you for allowing us to have this conversation with these dear ones. And each one of these friends, Lord, have a calling, a purpose over their shoulders. And I pray, God, as we have been talking about identity, purpose, and impact, that your grace will be so sufficient to each one of them. And the Lord, you will enlighten their minds to be able to perceive the calling of God over their lives, oh God. Some of them are in career, profession, oh God. Help them, Lord, to know their calling in that very place of work. Help them to connect them, Lord, with the bigger goal and responsibility. And may your wisdom prevail, may your grace prevail, oh God, as they continue to serve their community in the name of Jesus Christ. And as we rest tonight, be with us, protect us, watch over us, until you give us another opportunity to meet again. We'll be mindful to give you thanks. And God, as we continue to build this community of impact, I pray that, Lord, you'll continue to galvanize us together. Them that are not here, Lord, you'll bring them on board. So we bless you and we honor you. Keep us in perfect peace even tonight as we rest. In Christ Jesus, we pray, believing and trusting. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Amen.
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 Amen.